Okay, so what we're going to be discussing today is, or at least I'm going to explain the last practical for outcome 2. Once again, you have to do it for the SAC. We're trying to assess all these in, the event that the SAC does or does not happen. You still need to do them. So, this one's about short-term memory, and you've got to do the experiment itself. Now, what you need to do is you need to look at those particular words for 2 minutes. And I'm not going to stay on them too long because then that may affect the results. So what you need to do is look at those words for 2 minutes. And what you need to do is memorize as many words as you can in that amount of time. Once you've done that, close your laptop screen or wherever you're looking at this, those words from. What you need to do is you need to time yourself again, and you've got 2 minutes to write down as many of the words as you possibly can. Right? Once you've done that, count up how many words you got correct. You may struggle to find that you can remember all of them. Some people do, some people don't. And it demonstrates some of the limitations of short-term memory. According to researcher George A. Miller, the typical storage capacity of short-term memory is 7 plus or minus 2 items. However, memory rehearsal strategies such as chunking can significantly increase memorization and recall. So what you need to do is have a look at those words again. Which ones did you happen to remember? Which ones did you happen to forget? And you can do this before or after. I recommend writing your operational hypothesis beforehand. And with operational hypothesis, remember, you need to say, it is hypothesized. You need to include the participants. So, obviously don't use your name, but you might say a Victorian VCE psychology student will get, so we're going to have the prediction, and then you go with the dependent variable, and then you would have how it will be measured. So that's what you need to include in operational hypothesis, and it's really important that you practice these. If you are struggling with those, just give me the heads up, and what I can do is I can create a few different scenarios for you and help you to get these correct. Anyway, the second question is going to be an interesting one. Compare your data with those of your 2 partners. Combine the class data and evaluate it in terms of theoretical expectations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, so send your score to Miss Irving. So remember, irving.linda.m@edgemail.vic.gov.au. Alright, so send your score to me. And then what you can also do, right, is tell me, did you remember, and I'll have a look up here for a sec, right, we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 words, right? Did you remember the first, I'm going to say, what, 7 words? We'll go 7 plus or not minus. Let's go with that one. Right? So if you remembered this lot of words, so this section the most, then let me know that you got better recall at the start. If you happen to remember this lot, then you would say better recall for items at the end, right? So that's what I want you to tell me. Did you remember more at the start or end of the list? So, tell Miss Kirby. Alright. So, that's what I'd like you to do. Make sure that you do that, so then that way I can share the class data, and I'll do that on Compass. I'll email that out and I'll put it on Microsoft Teams. It'll all be anonymous anyway, so just make sure you do it. And everyone has to do it. Complete background research on short-term memory and explain the results of the experiment in regards to capacity and duration and how short-term memory could be improved. So in here you'd want to be talking about the capacity, the duration, and how both of these could actually affect the results. You may also want to talk about, and we haven't really looked at it yet, but you may want to because it'll get you better marks, the serial position effect, which looks at better recall at the start or end when compared to the middle. So you may want to look at that, right, and give reasons as to why this occurs and whether or not this was actually true for you. Also, once again, you want the definitions, pretty much the important stuff to do with short-term memory. Alright, and then what conclusions can be drawn from the results obtained from this experiment? And you'd want to relate it back to what you've said up here. Alright, identify and explain any extraneous variables that may have influenced the results. Did you do it in a quiet environment? Did you try to recall them straight away? Did listening to this actually affect the results? Because you got to see that list beforehand. Did you actually adhere to the experiment? Right. So there are quite a few extraneous variables. And explain how the experimental design could be modified to minimize or control the extraneous variable referred to in question 5. So how could you possibly, essentially, what could you do to ensure that this is going to be done correctly? Right? How can we fix the research is essentially what it's asking. And that is all you need to do for that one. Please make sure that you follow the instructions very, very carefully. 2 minutes to read those, pull down, and then write down as many as you can in 2 minutes, and then continue with the rest of the questions there. Don't forget to send me the information, because I need to be able to put it across, and you can't do question 2 unless you've actually sent it to me. So please make sure that you get it done. I will actually be chasing you down if you don't. So please get it done. And yeah, make sure you do it. It will be an assessed piece. So please get it done. Thank you.